But before we enter the terrifying world of alien abduction, let's return to that strange event recorded by a Mexican military aircraft on infrared. Nearly a dozen unidentified objects for which the military could find no explanation. Could this be definitive proof of alien visitations? On that fateful March afternoon in 2004, a routine military flight became a frantic effort to identify objects that seemed to be flying parallel to the plane. Invisible to radar and the naked eye, they were visible only in infrared. The Mexican military released the infrared records of the flight's encounter with unidentified objects, creating a sensation in the media. Captain Alejandro Franz of the Mexican UFO research group S.E.N.E.A.M decided to investigate for himself. Franz is a sort of skeptical believer. Though he thinks UFOs have visited Earth, he feels that investigators must rule out all alternative explanations before reaching a conclusion.
I have been investigating these things because almost 90% of the times they are not UFOs. They are human-made, or they are planets or asteroids or many other things that can be identified.
A pilot himself, Captain Franz wants to recreate the flight path of the military plane. Then, at the point where the crew encountered the UFOs, turn the plane directly toward the UFO sightings, because he thinks the objects might still be out there. The plane takes off from R.A.M.S.A. and climbs to 11,000 feet. Heading almost due east.
We are now at the same altitude as the airplane was. So now we need to go to the first track point and go east, following the track until 89 degrees west longitude. To keep the same track of the military plane.
The plane reaches the first point of contact with the UFOs. Franz instructs the pilots to head northwest, the same direction that the infrared camera was pointing. He's seen lights out that way before, and thinks he knows exactly what the military was tracking.
I have been flying and crossing the Gulf of Mexico hundreds of times. These lights in the Gulf of Mexico are seen all the year, almost by night. Any pilot could see them in good weather conditions and good visibility. You could see them from 140, 150 miles out.
About 60 miles out from shore, and nearly 100 miles from the last contact point, Franz spots what he's been looking for. The massive offshore oil well complex known as Cantarell. Even at 15,000 feet, the structures appear enormous. Drilling platforms can be as high as 40 stories. The flames, which can reach hundreds of feet, are caused by burning off excess gas to reduce pressure on the wells.
So they are there. I felt happy because I was confirming my theory. It's completing part of my investigation, and it's giving me support to keep investigating more.
Franz feels sure that this is the source of the infamous UFOs. But could these fires really have registered some 100 miles away on a military plane's infrared surveillance system? And why do they appear to be flying? Jim Safran seemed to be the guy to ask. He teaches and certifies infrared technicians and uses the technology himself to examine oil refineries and oil well platforms.
First of all, we haven't established that these objects are flying. Some might get a sense here that the objects are moving. In fact, this is an optical illusion which is created by the clouds moving with respect to the objects, not the other way around. It's likely that what we're seeing is a very hot source of heat. And in this case, since we're out over the ocean, a reflection of that heat off of the surface of the ocean. It could be the flame and some of the smoke, or it could be just the flame. I would like to believe that there may be UFOs, but I just don't see evidence of that here.
It's one thing to refute cold clinical evidence of UFOs captured on video or infrared.